Claudio Martini at Resistance Training. All right, today, happy Mother's Day, by the way. Today, I would like to talk about 3 topics. Reps, sets and reps for different types of muscle building, okay? They build differently, okay? Then the training sequence of exercises, number 2. And number 3, training exercises in a given workout. And they all compound upon each other, all right? So today's going to be a little bit more of a serious talk, getting away from all this bullshit that I've been doing out here. All right, seriously now. All right, reps. My particular rep ranges and my sets and reps, okay? I do not have any given sets and reps in my workouts. They're all by feel. In other words, I don't say today I'm doing a 5x5 or I'm doing a 3x10 or a 3x12. I just go as I feel. But I do one thing differently, okay? I don't know how I've kind of noticed out there that a lot of people like doing straight sets. They'll use a weight. They'll, for instance, 60 pounds on barbell. I'll give you an example. They'll do 60 pounds on a barbell for 10 reps. They do 3 sets of 10. When the last set gets easy, they add a little weight. That's fine and dandy, but when you see the different types of rep ranges are going to produce a different kind of look and a different type of muscle fibers. Now, the guys back in the day, the old bodybuilders, if you noticed how they trained back then, we're talking the 60s, the 70s, even back in the 50s, they would pyramid. They would start with a lightweight, okay, and they would pyramid up lightweight for maybe 10, 12 reps, and then the next set they would add some weight, and then the reps would naturally go down. The next set they add some weight, the reps go down, and so on and so on. Where at the end they're lifting the heaviest amount of weight for the fewest amount of reps. The beauty in that is it's hitting. In the beginning, you're warming up your muscles, okay? You're warming up. If you're doing curls, you're going to warm things up, get the joints lubricated, okay? And as you go on, you're going to get heavier. And as you get heavier, you're going to, the beginning sets work the sarcoplasmic muscle, and then the later sets work the myofibrils. They knew this back then. So, and now, most of the training is straight sets, 5x5, which do build strength, and you can incorporate them. Don't get me wrong. It's just that I like to pyramid from a lightweight up to a heavier weight. I feel that gives you most bang for buck, and it's actually going to build myofibrils in the end. Now, you could do the reverse pyramid, which was very popular back in the day, made popular by a lot of these YouTube influencers, by starting with the heaviest weight and then pyramiding down. That I don't like so much, okay? And the reason being is that even though you warm up before you do the heaviest first set, I still feel that you're going to run into problems and could potentially be at a risk for injuries, okay? Because when you pyramid up for light sets, I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example on how I do it. I'll take 60 pounds, all right? This is just an example to give you an idea. 60 pounds on barbell curls. So I'll do 10 or 12, okay? Rest. Then I'll add 70 pounds, a 10-pound increments. Then I'll do maybe 8 with 70, rest, 80, do 6, and always emphasize the lowering, okay? I don't care if I heave it up a little bit, but emphasize the lowering. Keep that lowering portion of that barbell curl under strict control. Then you go to 90, I may get 5, then go to 100, and at 100, I may get 4, maybe 3 or 4 at 100. Then you know what you do? Take a longer break and try to pump out another 3 or 4 for 100, and then another 3 or 4 for 100. You see what I'm saying? Then you're done. There's no other movements needed. You've hit your arms. You've given them very, very due justice. There's no other movements needed. Okay? So that's how I train basically in all the lifts. They help me to lubricate or warm up that area, so then I'm not going to be in danger of being injured, okay? I don't like starting off with a real heavy weight and then going back down. That's just, I've never liked that. And if you look up the old school bodybuilders back in the day, that's how they did. They would pyramid from a lightweight up to a heavier weight, and I just don't see that much anymore. I see straight sets, a lot of straight sets, and people have this notion in their head that they've got to do a certain amount of sets. When I go in for a workout, I will be straight up with you. I do anywhere from 6 to 8 sets. Okay, I do a lot of volume. Okay, so, and I'll get to that when we get down to the training exercises in a given workout. You'll understand why. So in a given workout, I'll do 8 sets for each exercise. Okay, that's 24 sets total. All right, so that's how I work it. And the reason being is I think you're going to get a lot of damage to the muscle, and then you're going to be away for a while and let it rest. So I have no fixed. There is a like, I don't do anything less than 5 to 6 sets. That's what I'm trying to say. And I will go up as high as 8 sets. Okay, but I don't do anything 2 to 3 sets and do this high intensity and that's it, and I've worked a muscle. I don't believe in that. It's not, I don't think it's going to work. And people will make claims to Dorian Yates. Dorian Yates he did the same thing what I'm talking about. He would pyramid up, he would do 3 or 4 sets, and then he would do his work set, would be the last set, which would be the 5th or 4th or whatever. He didn't do just 2 or 3 sets. He worked up. So that's a misnomer. It's bullshit. So, and you know what? We don't really know. You know, people will claim all kinds of things. We weren't really there to see all these people's training programs, okay? Maybe they did things that they did not let us see, all right? But that's how I do it, all right? That's how I train. I train it that way. I pyramid from a lightweight up to a heavier weight, anywhere from 5 to 8 sets on a given exercise. All right. Now, the next thing I'm going to touch on is number 2, is training sequence. What I mean by that is exercise sequence, actually. When you go in for a given workout, I see people, you go to the gyms and you see them all over the place. I'll give you an example. You'll see a guy doing barbell curls, all right? Then he'll go do some leg extensions. Then he'll go and do some lat pull downs. All right. And he's just oblivious. He's just aimlessly wandering around doing specific. He sees monkey see, monkey do. You see what I'm saying? He's seeing what people do. And that's going to hold you back. All right. Because when you go to the gym or wherever you work out or whatever it is, this is a resistance training you're doing. You should have a specific goal in mind. So I'll give you an example on exercise sequences. All right. If you're going to go and you do your workouts, instead of being scattered all over the gym, have a specific goal in mind. If I'm going to do shoulders, I'll give you a shoulder routine. Number 2, what is it? Yes, number 3 in the rotation. Number 3 in the rotation. I go in, I do behind the neck presses, all right, shoulders. Then I do lying tricep extensions, and then barbell curls. That's it, all right? I'm focusing on the shoulders, and I'm doing anywhere from 5 to 8 sets. I'm giving that shoulder, I'm working it. excuse me, sorry about that. I'm working that shoulder, all right? And then I go to lying tricep extensions, also the same thing, anywhere from 5 to 8 sets, okay? And barbell curls, all right? So anywhere from 5 to 8 sets also, all right? The rep ranges, all right? They're going to be higher in the beginning, and they're going to be lower towards the end of the set because I'm adding weight on each set. You follow what I'm saying? So there's never going to be a fixed amount of reps ranges. Like, oh, I'm just going to do just 10 reps for 3 sets or 10 reps for 5 sets or whatever. It's never going to be the same because they're always going to be, the rep ranges and the sets to some degree are going to be changing a little bit because you're going to get stronger. Things change. Maybe you're off that day, so things may change. But the initial foundation is always going to be there. All right. It's always going to be anywhere from 5 to 8 sets. And it's going to start off with maybe 10 repetitions all the way down to 2 or 3 reps because the last sets are going to be the hard work sets. All right. So the training sequences, I'll give you another example of training or the exercise sequence. On day number 4, training routine number 4, and I've changed things up a little bit. That's what the beauty of the rotations is. You can tweak here and there. So on the rotation day number 4, there's 3 exercises: deadlifts, okay, bent over rows, and shrugs. That's it, okay? I go and do anywhere from 5 to 8 sets of deadlifts, okay? Now, I will say this on the deadlifts. The deadlifts are a little bit different than all the other rotations, the exercises, because they're going to start out pretty light just to get the feel, get the technique down as you go. And the last 3 are going to be really heavy in those 6 sets. You know, I very rarely, be honest, I don't go 8 sets on deadlifts. The most I do is anywhere from 5 to 6, and that's it. And the last 2 or the last 3 are going to be the heaviest, and then I'm done. Because deadlifts are a little bit different. They tax a little bit more. They're going to take a lot more energy out of you in that workout. So after deadlifts, it's going to be shrugs, all right? The reason I do shrugs immediately after the deadlift is because you've stimulated your traps quite a bit on the deadlift itself. Then I move it right over to shrugs, okay? After the shrugs, after I've been standing up and shrugging, that gives me a little bit of a rest from doing the deadlifts. Then I move to pendelly rows. Then I do the rows. I don't do deadlift and then go right to the rows. I go deadlift and shrug because that you're giving that lower body a little bit of a break. You're standing up and doing shrugs because after the deadlifts, you're going to be, if you're do justice, you're going to be trembling down there a little bit if you're getting some damage, okay? So take and do shrugs afterwards. It will stimulate the traps. And then when you get to the rows, the pendelly rows, it's even going to help the traps and your rear delts. It's going to hit them because you're already fatigued. Now, 3 exercises. Now you're done. Okay? You see what I'm saying? You're done. So the way you group your exercises should be specific on what you're trying to do instead of being all over the place. Go in with a purpose on what muscle groups you're going to hit, all right? The only time that I put another exercise in the leg work is, well, I'll give you an example. Rotation number 2, squat day. On that particular day, I will do squats, okay, squats, calf raisers, weighted calf raisers, work the calves, and then I will add an exercise that really doesn't seem like it fits in because I'm doing chin-ups on that particular day. That's going to be weighted chins. Reason being is the lower body is blasted. My legs are shaking. They gotta now on squat day I will go up to anywhere from 5 to 8 sets because I really like to hit the legs. They're more of a priority for me than the deadlifts. The deadlifts, I kind of put them in the category of back work. That's why the pendelly rows are put together with the deadlifts. So when I do squats, I hit the squats hard, and then I hit the calves, which is part of the leg, the lower leg, and then I do chins. The reason the chins are in there is because on the other rotations, I like to start fresh. Your upper body hasn't been touched, and I'm really fresh, and I can really pound the weight. I can really add weight on the chin-ups. So, number 2 in the rotation, squats, weighted calf raisers, and chin-ups, weighted chins. So there you have it. That's kind of a way I'm trying to show you how to sequence these exercises so that way they have a specific, and they work together because you're compounding on those particular muscles, okay? And now I want to say this, do not forget your neck work. Always put in your neck. Neck is always in there. My neck work is done on Saturdays, and that particular day is just Nautilus 4-way neck machine and some banded neck work. That's very important. So I always do that regardless. That's not in the rotation because I just figured I put that in there as just kind of like a off training day because you have to work. I believe in working your neck, and it's getting stimulated by the shrugs and the deadlifts anyway. But I like to specifically work the neck because it's going to help you. You know, in martial arts, my background, we always dig neck bridges and work the neck quite a bit. So I think it's important for a healthy. Your neck is part of your spine. It's all connected. All right. So remember that the grouping of exercises in a given workout is very important for you to make gains. When you see these people and they're working a shitload of different things, and it's ridiculous if you watch them, and it's just you're just spinning your wheels doing it that way. Have a specific goal and group the exercise that makes most logical sense. Okay, that's what I do. I sit down making a program. That's why you don't really need a freaking coach. You just got to have common sense and group the exercises so they work with each other. All right, you see what I'm saying? You go to a chart, an autonomy chart, and look at how everything's put together and see how you can group them. All right. Training exercises in a given workout. Now, if you go to Google, they'll all say, oh, it just doesn't give you a clear answer to this, okay? Because the way they state it, I don't know, that, oh, you can train anywhere from 4 to 5 exercises per exercise. What they're saying basically is chest, a bench press, a fly, a pull over, and a dip. You know, you can work all those for 3 sets of each. Ridiculous. It's stupid. It is. It's stupid because you're spreading in other words, that's kind of like a bro split. You're just working the chest all in one day and hitting it, and you're thinking that it's gonna, but the body works as a whole. Okay. So you want to put your training exercises, the sequence, like I stated, but you want to hit them with some good, hard sets and reps, all right? So here's what I mean by training exercises in a given workout. I've just given you some examples, all right? There's always 3 exercises in every workout that I do. Sometimes 4 if I've got the time and it's not a busy heck, but I don't like doing that because on those 3 exercises that I do, it's hardcore focus. After my squats, okay, and my calf raisers and my chin-ups weighted for 24 sets, I really don't have any desire. I'm cooked. I don't have any desire, all right, to do any more, because that's all I can do. So if you're just effing around in the gym, sure, you could spend 2 or 3 hours there, but if you're spending 2 or 3 hours there, you're not doing any work, all right? And that's going to bring me to this. You see all these people out here doing their workouts. They put them up on videos. I don't put that many workouts up. Once in a while, you'll see a few of them here and there, but I'm just not, the idea of showing someone the workout, sure, you can show them your workout, but does that really going to help them? Because they just not going to get it, all right? You can watch a lot of workouts out here. I'll give you an example. You can watch the coach. Have you ever seen the coach when he gets on that reverse hyper and he straps his feet and he does a leg extension and they're swinging? It's just swinging back and forth. That is just an utter freaking waste of time, dude. Come on. If you're going to do leg extensions, go to a machine after you've done some heavy-ass squats and put some weight on there and go up to where you can barely move the damn thing. If you're going to sit and swing and do stupid stuff, swinging barbells up and down, do it, that you're buying into what you're seeing from fake coaches, from fake influencers who are on anabolic steroids and TRT. Not real TRT, fake TRT. What I mean about fake TRT is they're doing more than what the doc is supposed to give them. Okay? I know, I speak from experience from this, because my youngest brother, he's 58, and he was diagnosed with low T. It's probably a shitty diet, who knows? And I've talked about this, I think, in a prior video. His testosterone was measured at 110. Okay? 110 testosterone. The doc said that's bad. He's soft. He had mood problems. So they put him on testosterone. I think the dose was 100 milligrams, I think, once a week, and it brought it up a little bit. But he found out it just had some weird side effects on him. So I told him, I said, let's ditch that and I started him on a little bit of a program, all right, and changed his diet a little bit without any TRT. But what I mean to say is, telling you this story is, the dose he got was 100 mils a week, once a week. And the doc didn't even like doing that. And this is a specialized clinic. So these guys are on fake TRT. Who the hell knows how much they're sticking in the syringe? And so what I'm saying is, these people are leading you down a horseshitter trail. All right, listening to these people. And so back to my brother, we got him on this thing here, and changed his diet, incorporated more red beef and vegetables, and training in the style that I'm promoting here, that I believe is best. He went from 110 testosterone up to 400 within 7-8 months, all right? So this fallacy is that you guys need to be on TRT. He's 58. Okay, he's my youngest brother. So this fallacy that you need to see a doctor right away, for God's sakes, and start jabbing your ass, okay, it's nuts. You're nuts listening, because you know why? It's about money. These clinics, these TRT clinics, it's about money. Do you get that? And then they're going to fool you into thinking that, oh, it's going to change your life. They got the slogans, the T life is the best life. Just stupid bullshit comments, you know, and they're endangering you. They're taking you down. Instead of telling you as an honest coach, they should be telling you, hey, let's get you on a good program. Let's get you on your real diet, the diet you're supposed to eat, and train you. And then let's check your T in 6 months. Oh, no, they're going to tell you, oh, T life is the best life. Okay. So anyway, that's what I mean in a given workout. I digress here. 3 exercises in a given workout so you can really blast those 3 exercises and then, you know, do justice on that workout. And believe me, 3 exercises, and I take long, that's another thing I want to mention, it's very important. If I do a set of squats, all right, when I start out light, all right, on the first 3 to 4 sets, you know, you're just warming up. I take anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes, all right? And as the sets progress, and then I get heavier, okay? Like my last squat, 315 for 6 reps, all right? 315 for 6. For a guy that's weighing 170, and I'm 170 and almost freaking 70, okay? That's pretty damn good, I think, for me, all right? And I'm not on anything. I'm not shooting anything, and I don't take anything. That's a fact. That's on my mom's grave. All right. So, testosterone is not needed if you got the right person that's going to steer you in the right direction, all right, and going to try to help you to raise your testosterone naturally. The exercises, no more than 3, so that way you can hit them hard, okay? Hit the exercises hard. And one last point, and then I'm out of here because these videos always go freaking long, is that the frequency of the exercises, my exercises are always Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Saturday and Sunday is completely off. You got Tuesday off, and you got Thursday off. You got Saturday off and you got Sunday off. There's no need for any more, especially if you're drug free. All right. And I will say this, anyone out there that is on TRT or using anabolic steroids, I know I'm going to probably get a lot of shit for this. You have no freaking business training or giving any type of training advice to people that are not using drugs. It's ludicrous, it's bullshit, and you don't know what the hell you're talking about because a person that's natural has a completely different playing field than a guy that's doing drugs. You see, the bodybuilders, all these bodybuilders, they can give advice to each other. Do you want to know why? Because they're all on the same playing field. They all take basically some of the same stacks, and they can discuss what works and what doesn't because they know they're all in the same camp. There's kind of like this, what do you call it, this uniformity amongst them all. When it comes to naturals all have different hormonal profiles. They all have different stress levels. They all have different jobs. And when you come along all jacked up on your test and all your anabolics, like these idiots, and they try to put you, oh, I'm going to write you a program. I'm going to write you a program. They don't even have a freaking clue on what type of program to write you. You know why? Because they don't know. It's just too out there. They can take a guess. So I always make it I would never, ever take advice. If a guy says to me, and if I go, he's a coach, you know, if I believe that they're using, done. I won't deal with it. I will not take their advice. Their advice is garbage to me. And you shouldn't either. Because they're on a different, let them give advice to other people that take drugs. That's fine. That's what they do. That's where they're at. But for a person that's natural, no. They're going to send you down a horse shitter's trail leading nowhere. All right? Especially these online fitness guys. They have no credentials. They have no... Now, neither do I. Okay? I don't either. I'm not claiming to, and I'm not claiming that I have the holy grail. I'm not trying to convince you of anything. I'm not trying to make you believe in something. This is my philosophy and my belief. Try it. Try it and see for yourself. 3 exercises per workout. See how much better you feel after you do 3 exercises in the proper sequence. See how you feel when you do them on a rotation and you're not always training 7 days a week in a gym. You imagine having to go to a gym every single day of your life? You imagine the imprisonment that is? The obsession in your head? Think about the mentality. You've got to be sick. Seriously, you've got to have some kind of mental disorder to be able to go to a freaking gym and just live there. You know what? Go see a therapist. Because the gym, and here's the sad reality is, we're all going to the same effing place. And you know where that is? 6 feet under, buddy, or cremated or whatever. So get off this horse shit. You should train for enjoyment. You should go to the gym because it relieves stress for enjoyment. When you're in there excessively, you've got a problem. Just like if you have a drink, if you have a glass of wine, that's no big deal. If you have a beer every now and then, no big deal. But when you start drinking daily and daily and daily, that's the same thing with physical culture. You're in the gym wasting your life, lifting and destroying yourself. And guess what? This shit will age the shit out of you. It'll destroy you. It destroys your joints. It destroys your tendons, it destroys your mental health, it destroys every single facet of your spiritual life and being, man. Do you get what I'm trying to? This is why I don't put a lot of emphasis. I work out hard. My workouts, when I do the 3 exercises, my workouts take 40 to 45 to 1 hour to complete. I'm done. Then I've got my life to do. I got my things I got to do. I got to mow the lawn. I mow the lawn, I trim the hedges, I clean the house, I vacuum. I'm not sitting in a freaking garage night and day trying to convince people and get little minion followers so I get subscribers, man. That's not the gig. I don't do this for money on YouTube. I'll probably never make a freaking dime. And then if you look at the statistics on what these people make, it's not that much money. So there's no invested interest for me to try to persuade you of anything else. That's all I got to say. I know I went on a little bit of a rant, but the main purpose of this whole workout was to get you the reps, all right? The reps for different types of muscles, the training sequence, the exercise sequence, and how many exercises in a given workout, and then the frequency. That's it. Let's get out of here. Woo! All right. Happy Mother's Day, and thanks for watching.